All right, we in the building, man. This Player Talk Radio got a great show for you guys tonight. Let's start tonight's show, man. Let's go.
You know what? It's the half of 2019. I don't want another motherfucking nigga to offer to take me out to eat, to take me to the movies, to take me nowhere. Unless y'all fucking asking me, can y'all pay my motherfucking bills? Straight up. You want me to give you my time? You want me to come through kill? You want me to get my motherfucking hair done, my makeup done and everything else, just to come out and go on a motherfucking date and we ain't talking about no bills. Okay? Real men get time from me. Real men get the fuck with me. Cause real men pay bills. You little motherfucking boys want to take a bitch out to eat, take a bitch to the movies. I don't want to do that 2019. The only thing I want from a nigga is my bills paid. Straight up. We can't do nothing else but that. I'm trying to secure the bag. And the
What up? What up? It's Player Talk Radio. It's DJ Kuda back at the helm of today's show. I had to cut her off, man. She is fucking annoying, man. What is good? It's Player Talk Radio. It's DJ Kuda back at the helm of today's show. Got a great show for you guys tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the twisted game that a lot of dark-skinned women like to play with themselves, okay? Now, on this show, we like to talk about female nature, and we like to, get into the deep, science of things. And on today's show, we're going to talk about is the twisted game that a lot of black women like to play with themselves. See, women like to play games with themselves in general. Some of them, they like to convince themselves that they're left with no choice. But once you recognize the game that's being played with yourself, you have a choice to either step back or you have a choice to either entertain what's going on. And if you know anything about a woman's nature, whether she knows or not, she's going to indulge in both because she wants both. And the spirit and the essence of their nature is to not be wrong. So if she plays both sides, she can fall into what's called cognitive dissonance and, be right either way. She may not always be right, but she's never wrong. Real talk. But another thing that I wanted to talk about on tonight's show, keep that in mind, is a lot of the games that they like to play with themselves. See, women in general, they play games with themselves, but our darker skinned melanated sisters, they play another type of game with themselves. They have another whole brand of game with themselves that they like to play. And a lot of times too, in today's age, you will notice that the most feminine, quote unquote, minded sister, she's a dark skinned sister. And they subscribe to like Madame Noir and Chrissy and For Harriet. Actually, I got a For Harriet clip that I'm gonna play that to actually solidify what I'm talking about. But these women are pseudo delusional feminists. And what they like to do is they like to bring in colorism. They like to bring in the color effect on a lot of the things that they're talking about, and then they like to cry and quarrel about it as if somebody else introduced this variable to the game. So them bringing in colorism is them, throwing a stone, and then them playing a victim to the same colorism that they brought into is hiding their hands. And a lot of these things have been proven and debunked, but the thing is that, they have to bring in a whole bunch of other different variables into it, like, body, and, this girl got titties, this girl got ass, and, this girl, because, see, she's a woman. She owns a pussy in between her legs, and when she looks at other women and compares herself to those other women, she knows the pussy is where it's at. It's like, what else does this woman have that's better than me? And what happens is she starts to become very insecure and inadequate in her mind, and then she starts to obsess over other things instead of focusing on what she has. That she is a woman, that she is beautiful, and that she is entitled to anything that she wants. And that superficial attention doesn't mean anything. But try to tell that to a woman as a man, you fall short. You can't tell that to them. So they fall into this psychosis of being delusional. Don't say anything about personality or getting to know a man or just being a different type of woman in today's society that will be more accommodating to men. Having her own brand. No. She wants to go on Instagram. She wants to look like these models. She wants to bleach her skin. She wants to interject everything with colorism and then cry about it, even though they do have a hard history. All of us have a hard history just being black people, but darker skinned women in particular, yes. And some of it is actually true, and some of it actually isn't true. Some of it actually is fabricated, but being under the banner of it gives them a sense of security. And sometimes a sense of security and them being alone gives them what's called a sense of insecurity. Because now that sense of security has made people back off of them to the point that they can practice as much insecurity as they would like to practice. So, other than bringing up colorism, they will bring up what other women has. Oh, she has a body. Oh, her skin's a little bit lighter. Oh, she can do this filter and all this. You know, some of them don't have money to fucking bleach their skin, so they lighten their filters and shit on Instagram and shit like that. Just as bad, but a little bit more instant. Instant gratification. Insta gratification. Let's play a clip from For Harriet. And I don't have to explain it to you. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Start tonight's show.
How are you doing?
Now, before we start tonight's show, I want to give you guys a disclaimer for something that I did. Okay? And Harriet, she's a beautiful girl, but she kind of has a grandma look in this video. She's a weird looking woman. So what she's talking about really doesn't really surprise me. I'm just saying. But shout outs to Harriet. Shout outs to For Harriet. Man. But what I want to say is, remember I told you guys months back, and I'm going to do this when I do the Hive Mindset show, is the internet has ruined women. The internet has exposed women and their nature. It's ruined them. But when I said it, oh boy, did I catch some flack. Did I catch some heat? The internet has ruined women. Now here you have one of your ringleaders saying this same shit that I done said, because it's not valid until they say it for some reason. Saying the same shit that I said, but now all of a sudden, oh my God, it needs to be taken serious. But when I said it, oh, no, he's just tripping. Oh, she doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, that's that red pill logic. Okay. All right. So she's going to explain to you how the internet has ruined you bitches. Even herself. Unknowingly. I'm pretty magical with this shit, man. You might want to listen to what I'm about to say, but let's get it.
Much for asking. So let's go ahead and talk about how social media is basically ruining us. In a video a couple of weeks ago, I talked about how Instagram has a homogenizing effect on our aesthetic preferences. And there I was talking about how we celebrate and like fetishize mixed race people. But that's not the only way that Instagram is influencing our preferences.
Now that sounds like a personal problem. Okay? Yes, Instagram and all these different sites are there, but it's up to you as the individual to fantasize and fetishize these mixed raced people, since you want to disassociate yourself with it. See, you bitches be listening to this shit and don't have no type of disclaimer. That's the big problem with bitches. Or just women. Let me not be really fucked up and derogatory on today's show. Let's keep it PG. But the big problem with women is that y'all get to spew and say anything that you want. I have to be a little bit more I wouldn't say filtered, but I have to be a little bit more wary of what I say, because men, we hold each other accountable, and people just in general all of a sudden want to hold niggas accountable for everything that they say. We don't get to just say anything that we want to say without having to pay for it or something like that. Women, they can just spew anything and say anything. So when you're getting advice from a woman, you have to be very, 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 you have to have a filter. You got to know how to eat the meat and spit out the potatoes. My bad. Let's get it.
And our desires and our self-esteem and our body image. Instagram is a blessing and a curse, because on one hand, it allows those of us who've been historically marginalized to create our own images.
First of all, looking to liberate yourself through Instagram, you're already on the fool's errand. Second of all, why are you putting all of this emotional stock into an app? Think about that.
And distribute our own images and come together and celebrate each other like we see on like the dark-skinned beauty.
Why do you want to be celebrated so much? Why is taking pictures and just sharing them of a lot of the shit that goes on Instagram, which is a lot of fuckery? I don't know if y'all niggas ever been on Instagram, but it's a lot of fuckery. Why does that make you feel better about yourself? Why does it make you want to come together? Why? You know these people are using filters. You know half these people aren't living that type of lifestyle. Why do you use that as a staple of independence or something to bring you guys together? Don't you believe that just that alone sets yourself up for just any type of failure?
Pages or on the body posy pages, but on the other hand, like, we have to be real about the fact
the body posy. Why do you need to be constantly reassured that my body's positive? If you wake up the next day and you don't feel good about your body, that's your body telling you, yo, bitch, you gotta do something.
women and girls who say that they use Instagram every day or like for like an hour a day, they self-report having high levels of anxiety and lower self-esteem and body image.
Oh, no
My
shit.
hypothesis is that
shit.
rise of these social media platforms, in particular, the ones that are based on images like YouTube, like Instagram, like Snapchat, are actually a net negative for the mental health of women and girls. Even beyond the data that we already have of girls and women telling us, like, I feel bad after I use Instagram, I really think it's much deeper than that. And I just pray, like, in 5 years that we will get a comprehensive breakdown of what is going on. Because I really do think that it's doing more harm than good. And we like to emphasize the good because it makes us feel better about our addiction. And I feel that way because we know.
What the fuck? What the fuck? I told y'all this now. I vehemently broke this. Oh my God, this is frustrating, man.
How these companies engineer their products to keep us addicted. They engineer their products. Kara Swisher, whom I love, a tech journalist I love, calls it
now it's the company's fault. Okay.
A slot sheen of attention. So we cannot let it go. But we're also seeing that self-harm and suicide among children and girls in particular is higher than ever in recorded history. Now, I don't think that that is a coincidence. And I think that those harms are especially pointed and especially detrimental for women and girls of color, you know, people who are not white, because we...
Now watch how she sneaks the colorism into it. Like white women aren't affected by Instagram. Like Spanish women aren't affected by Instagram. Like women of other color aren't affected by Instagram. But I do agree with her. The sisters in particular in general, they're affected by Instagram because at some point, just for some reason, and you can't tell them shit, just because you can't tell them shit, they're going to get their advice from somewhere else. And usually that's going to be something that's bad, like Instagram. And this is the mortal sin of the black woman not listening to her black man. Just the mere fact that a black man is telling her something, especially about herself, she doesn't like that. Isn't that ironic? This is your karma. And vicariously, she wants to listen to a black man. Vicariously, she wants to not listen to a black man, pretend like she's listening to a black man, and then purport back to you guys, vicariously, that she's listening to a black man and this is where it led her. But no, you're not listening to a black man. You're listening to Instagram. So watch how she sneaks color into it. She just snuck color into it right now. And look where she goes with it.
It's like so many sets of pressures. So I already talked about, you know, the baby hair ideal and the tan skin ideal, you know, that mixed race aesthetic. But there's also a pressure to have
the baby hair. Black women are obsessed with baby hair because they're obsessed with youth. Okay.
the super curvy body. That curvy body ideal has gotten so extreme and so cartoonish. And I've talked about, you know, the cartoonish way that bodies look now. And somebody said, oh, that's just black women's bodies. And I was like, no, it's not, girl. We are way past the point of just a normal black woman's body being the ideal. Look, I've been on social media for a long time. I've also been black my whole life, and I've been kind of thick since 2003, okay? I have we'll say a shapely lower half. And when
Yeah, you sound a bit obsessive with bodies, blackness, and shapeness.
I was growing up, when I would look at the music videos, I was always impressed by the bodies of, like, you know, Buffy the Body or Kai Toy or girl, these are old school video girl names. Okay. Or like, you know, Melissa Ford.
Oh, nah.
Or even Delicious before her original body. Delicious's first body. Those were the kinds of bodies I was like, oh, okay, you're super stacked. Now.
Yeah, see, because this is what they look up to, fellas. Hasn't said anything at all about personality, about intellect, or about, you know, just anything of value. It's just bodies and color. That's it. You'll never hear these motherfuckers say, oh, I like how such and such listens to her man because I would like to listen to a man the exact same way. And I'll know the type of man to listen to exactly like that when he comes. Nope, just her body.
That is not, we're way past that. Now we're at an ideal with waist this big and hips this big, bodies that are absolutely not found in nature. Maybe 1%.
These bitches want to look like Barbie dolls, fellas.
Of the population naturally comes out like that. But no, that's just, it's not anything that you can achieve without getting surgery. And recently I found this Instagram account that showed...
And women are going to try to achieve that because you can't tell them they can't. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. Yep. That's what they do, fellas.
The models and the rappers and the singers and the actresses before and after they got surgery. And yeah, they're definitely trying to shame those women. I'm not interested in shaming them. I do think it's super fascinating, and extreme is the only word that comes to mind, because how did we get here? How do we get to a point
not listening
where the
to
ideal
niggas, that's
is
how
something
you
that
got there.
looks... And how do we get to this point where the beauty ideal is that, when in my mind 10 years ago I thought social media was going to be a magical place where we can all be...
Why would you think that social media would be a magical place where we can all just get together and eat popcorn and just talk about stuff? Yeah. Are you hoes this dumb?
Celebrated and uplifted, and now we all have an opportunity to be the ideal. That's not true, you know? A lot of positivists like myself have been completely debunked, because instead of social media and Instagram and Snapchat and YouTube deconstructing those ideals, they actually reify the ideals because they...
But you and your sisters get on it every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. Faithfully. Deontay Wilder. Every day. Faithfully, nigga. How'd you fuck this up? How could you fumble this? I mean, I know how. This is a rhetorical question, but damn. I just thought it was just going to be a place for uplifting and...
know what gets our likes, they know what gets our attention, and then the algorithm pushes that stuff forward. That's what's going to be on your explore page. Really? And when I really think about it, I'm not super surprised, because Instagram has a financial interest in the replication of a certain kind of beauty. If that's...
Oh, I like how you like to sugarcoat it. Instagram has a financial benefit towards a certain beauty. You just gonna say that instead of bitches just selling ass off of Instagram, and that is building up what a lot of women want to be, because remember, you have to secure the bag, sis. You have to secure the bag. And what secures the bag on Instagram? What makes money? What gives Instagram its revenue?
Gonna make you money, then that's
y'all
what you're
hoes don't
forward.
got no good advice to get, man.
The market cap is like $100 billion, or is that the revenue? It's either the market cap or the revenue. It's a enormous amount of money, and these individual influencers are making a lot of money.
Oh, they're individual influencers now.
Ideal.
Really?
So the ideal is not going to change until the financial incentives change.
Oh,
obviously,
really?
people of all races are on Instagram, they're on Snapchat.
Oh, now they're all races now.
They're on YouTube, they're on all of these platforms.
Yeah.
I zoom in on Black women because, according to the Pew Research Center, Black women are
if you zoom in on Black women, you would sound like me. So she said the demographic of social media users adopted in the United States, Pew Research Center, Internet Science Tech, February 5th, 2018. Hold on.
more likely than any other race to use Instagram. That makes
So black people are more likely than any other race to use Instagram. Oh, okay. And what are these black people doing on Instagram?
Makes sense to me. We are
Instagram is
looking
back
for
page.
images, right? We've been shut out of movies and music and magazines for
Black women have been shut out of movies, TVs, and magazines. Are you fucking kidding me? How you let these women build up this false veil of oppression on you? Yo, we've been shut out. We never get picked at. We never get selected. Look at my skin. I'm gonna make it the biggest focal point. Not the movie, but my skin. That's the focal point.
I mean, that's kind of changing a little bit, but
Okay.
if you want to see black people, it makes sense to me that you would be deeply invested in the Instagram.
Oh, God.
And, you know, that's where we are.
Oh,
Images
nah.
matter.
I don't even
Images
be
are
on
powerful.
Instagram like that. I already know what's on
I'm 30 years
there.
old. I still want to see me.
Right.
I still want to see black girls with big noses.
You're so obsessed with yourself. You don't even know yourself. I still want to see me. I want to see black girl with big noses. I want to see the ugly black bitch ass. And then, you know, I'm going to complain about it because we're so oppressed. Come on, man.
And braids and big lips. Like, that's what I want to see. That's the content I'm looking for.
That's what you want to see. That's the content you're looking for. But yet you're going to, I bet you're going to further explain how you're obsessed with other women that don't look like that and their bodies. Mark my words,
for
man.
Representation, but we also all want to see beauty. You know, whatever beauty is to you,
Yeah.
it makes us feel good.
It's subjective.
Those are the
It makes-
images
it
that
makes
we're going to
us
seek
feel
out.
good.
I don't think that
Okay.
black women and our interactions with social media
Oh,
have
yeah,
been studied
really.
enough because
Yes.
for so long,
Oh, my God.
there has been this myth that black women are impervious to
Really?
having body image issues, that we just have
Really?
a chronically high self-esteem. And a part of that is because in the survey data that we have so far,
So do you have
black
high
women do
self-esteem or low
consistently
self-esteem?
self-report, feeling better about our bodies than women of other races. We
Okay,
self-report
good. So what's the
feeling better
problem?
in bigger bodies.
Really?
And that leads reasresearchers
In
who
bigger
are
bodies, fat.
most often white people to say, oh, they're fine.
Okay.
Right? No eating disorders, no body dysmorphia.
Ooh.
They're good. In fact, they say they're unhealthy. That's unhealthy because we're okay with having bigger bodies. I do believe the data.
No, it's unhealthy because having bigger bodies is fucking unhealthy. When you're 4'11" and 210 and 230 and 40 pounds, that's not healthy. These bitches don't even know what the fuck they want to see. The reason why I'm cutting in like this, have y'all just sensed all the delusion? Come on, man.
But I
Here's
also
some more
am
delusion
skeptical
for
of some
y'all.
of those interpretations because most of those researchers are white, but also because most of that
You
data
make it about color.
is not super
When it
super
don't need to be.
new. The latest study that I found was from 2015. I would be super interested in. Again, girl, I hope some social scientists watch me. Please do this work. I hope that people are assessing how black women are feeling now, today, in
Okay.
2019, because I don't think it's the
So
same.
y'all are feeling so good, but yet you feel compelled to come on the internet and just say, oh, well, it's because my skin color and my tone, and we just don't feel good, and we need to feel good, sisters, and we need to see bodies everywhere. Nothing about intellect.
In the data that we have, the gap between how black women feel about our bodies and how white women feel about our bodies has been pretty significant. And a big part of that is because we
How
have
you gonna
not
tell white women how they
internalized
feel about your body?
mainstream messaging about thin is
The
in
fuck?
and thin is the ideal, and you gotta look like Pam Anderson. I don't know why Pam Anderson is at the forefront of my mind. That's a 20-year-old reference. Or you gotta
What?
look like Britney or whatever. Like, we have been able to create our own
And then
ideals
and then
within
the
our
people that you're
communities.
comparing
But
aren't even
I
up
would
to
bet
date.
$100 that gap is narrowing. I don't know any black women, to be honest, who want to be thin, you know, skinny. And that's just not how we operate in the world.
Really?
But I know lots of black
That's why the
women.
majority of y'all are obese?
I know, I've spoken to,
Ooh.
I've watched on YouTube, all kinds of black women all across the diaspora who desire a different body shape, meaning thinner waist, bigger hips.
Oh, really?
So widespread. Big booties have always been in. 36, 24, 36. Go back to your mama's brick house. Go back to Baby Got Back.
Look, that just makes her so happy. She's so tickled.
The Coke bottle
Big
or
booties.
whatever. And I will say, as a petite woman who has a certain kind of figure, I have benefited. You know, just to be honest, I have often benefited and gotten positive attention as well as some unwanted attention. But as an adult, positive attention for having a certain kind of body. But there is a point where things really started to go over the cliff. There's a tipping point where even I was like, oh, is my butt big enough? Oh, is my waist small enough? Like, that's where
like
we are now.
obsession.
Where if you're just like a black girl who just happened to have a booty, now it's like, well, let me get the waist trainer. Let me get this booty pop panties. Let me get the butt enhancing cream.
Oh.
Let me try the laxative teas or whatever. And that's dangerous. Just anecdotally speaking, in the past decade, I've seen a huge uptick in the number of black women expressing severe and extreme dissatisfaction with their bodies. Women of all socioeconomic statuses, women of all walks of life say, I want a bigger.
And that's the thing, ladies. When they talk, they're gonna double speak. They're gonna say things positive and negative. And it's just gonna keep you vague because you don't know which way to go, but you can have both.
I want a smaller waist, and I do believe that coincides with the rise of Instagram in the fall of 2010.
Damn.
And that's not to say that people did not get augmentations before 2010, but I don't think that you can really dispute that Instagram has a net negative effect on how we feel about ourselves moving through the world. We do see the rise of like the botched booty in, you know, the butt injections around like 2012, but in these
they've been getting that shit. This ain't nothing new, y'all. Go look up Sarah Bartman. Stop playing, man. Cut the games, man.
Past 9 years, the conversations that people have around their bodies, what sorts of bodies are considered ideal and normal,
of this like
have
that?
Absolutely changed.
Me.
The kind of dysmorphia that I'm seeing in conversations is rampant and it's pervasive. It's a real cultural shift. And yeah, I blame social media. And I know I'm not making this up because I saw Dr. Miami.
Women wasn't getting surgeries before social media? Now, one of the things that I say in when I told y'all social media was fucking up women is that everything is times 10 and 20 and 30. It's on steroids. But being intellectually dishonest, you know they were getting it before social media. But proceed.
Eddie's favorite plastic surgeon on a talk show, I think it was the Wendy Williams show, saying that it's different.
The other interesting trend is instead of people asking for celebrity booties, people used to come in with pictures of Nicki Minaj or Kim K. Now they're just coming in with their phones and picking out Instagram models.
Isn't that really convenient nowadays, fellas? That women can just bring in a picture of some bitch she does not know her. This some girl I follow on Instagram. I want to alter my body very quickly and in the near future and pay all of this money that's especially coming from you tricks because she's fucking. And she knows that she's fucking off the Instagram. So her fucking off the Instagram will get her more people to fuck off of Instagram, maximize her dating pool, make her look better. She's trying to kill all the birds with one stone. Taking a short cut. Short cut. No pun intended. Surgery pun intended. Anyway, They can just go to their whatever doctor with the phone. Show them some random girl. The doctor probably don't even see a whole bunch of pictures of the girl to really purport the dimension. He just has to go off of eyesight and try to make the same thing happen with her body. That's the gamble that she's taking. Then these bitches don't even know what they put. Man, these doctors putting concrete in these bitches' bodies. The fuck? You all should be ashamed of yourselves, man. And you bitch ass niggas. You gonna fuck that. I got some clips from Black China that I want to play too also. Anyway, let's get into it before I get up out the building. Let's go.
It's a big deal. Like Erica Mena. Right. And they're saying that's what I want to look like.
The kind of dysmorphia that women of color, black women, are dealing with is different.
This is not dysmorphia. Aside from the tattoos, aside from the millions of dicks, aside from the drinking and smoking, aside from the you shaking ass in the club, this is what's called self-mutilation. Self-mutilation.
Different because we do not subscribe to the thin ideal. So if you do subscribe to the thin ideal, then it's like, how do I get thinner? I diet, I purge, I over exercise. But when you're trying to achieve the curvy ideal, you get surgery, you get a waist trainer. And I don't know if one is better or worse than the other. They're different. And it deserves equal attention. The rise of surgery is particularly interesting and particularly concerning. So last year in the United States, Americans spent $16.5 billion on cosmetic procedures. But cosmetic procedures includes everything from laser hair removal to rhinoplasty, right? Or even Botox is counted as a cosmetic procedure. Still, a lot of money. And I also thought it was interesting that from 2017 to 2018, there was a 20% rise in BBL or butt augmentation.
Oh,
that is the largest rise for any of the procedures.
What a surprise.
That they track. And also, it was interesting
to me that they don't even
have numbers from 2000 when they first started doing this rundown because those butt augmentation procedures were so rare. Now, like I said, I'm not really
done in
invested
niggas'
in making people
basements.
feel
That's
bad
why.
about getting surgery.
Bitches been
do
had that
whatever you
shit.
want with your body. We all do all kinds of stuff to make ourselves look better and feel good walking through the world, whatever. I really only care about it when people lie, and people lie a lot. Looking at the freaking Kardashians. Khloe Kardashian wants us to believe that she got that booty by doing fucking squats. No, girl.
Why does that mean a lot to you?
But anyways, those are the only people that I want to call out. I am, though, interested in, we all have the capacity to make choices, and we all have agency, but we can't talk about choices and decision making.
I like how you downplay agency and responsibility
and the societal structures that push us toward certain choices. In 2019, if you spend any amount of time on social media or any amount of time consuming, black-oriented media, let's say urban media, then you're going to be terrorized by the curvy beauty ideal. You're going to be terrorized by the teeny tiny waist and big booty and people lying about how they got it like that. At some point, we're going to look at these women with these teeny tiny waists and these huge butts, who look like the segmented insect thoraxes. We're going to look at them and be like, ooh, I already look at it and it feels like Chinese foot binding to me, at one point in China, the feet of girls and women were bound, and now we look at that as mutilation. And I truly believe
and you don't think putting all that shit in your body is mutilation.
Be like, what? Like, for real? Like, that's not, the same way that we look at, the bustle or whatever. It's just gonna be a fad that looks funny. But for the women who are getting those procedures right now, I feel like we overlook the fact that surgery is still dangerous. Going under general anesthesia is still dangerous. And I've just watched so many videos and read so many articles about women who've gotten butt shots in, the back of a beauty salon.
You've read articles and books and stuff like that, and you don't have nothing to say.
They don't know what's in their bodies.
What exactly did they put in the shots?
To be honest, I don't know what the fuck they put in my ass. I just know it looks good.
They just got the shots. They just wanted the ideal. So you don't know what someone injected into your body. That means you don't know what to expect in 5 years, 10 years, 20. Like, that is unbelievable to me. They have no idea what the long-term effects are. It's so incredibly short-sighted. I mean, right now, we're seeing a generation of women who got like a certain kind of breast implant that was basically like, they were guinea pigs for this new kind of breast implant. And now they have cancer because your body tries to attack this foreign object. And while it's trying to break down this foreign object, those particles seep into your bloodstream and now they have cancer. We don't know what the effects of all of this fat transfer and the booty shots and the hydrogel and the silicone are. We don't know. But what we do have now is women in that first generation of women who got butt shots and the implants and all of that coming out to say something went wrong. You know, K. Michelle has been really vocal about how she thought she had lupus at one point, how she had to get it lipoed out.
I did butt, I did hips. And now I'm to the point where I've been getting tired of it for years, trying to kind of lipo. Now it's to the point where it's affecting my health. Mm-hmm. And we're thinking that the aching and everything that made me go and, you know, get checked for lupus is due because my butt is so big and my legs are not holding it.
But she is lucky because she's rich and she can afford to go to the doctors and get the reconstructive surgery. If you are getting hydrogel shot into your ass in the back of a beauty salon, you probably do not have the money to go to Dr. Gavami or to go to Dr. Miami to get reconstructive surgery. So what's gonna happen? And it's so important not to shame these women because we need their stories.
It's important not to shame these women because we need their stories. I avoid
the looking down my nose and whatever because we've got to deal with why a group of women who on average have a negative net worth are spending so much money to reconstruct their bodies. Why are we spending so much money on
the same obsession that you were pushing at the beginning of this video? That's why. The double talk that you've been having the whole time. That's why. You've been so loud and vocal and not saying shit. That's why.
Shit like waist trainers and flat tummy tees. Why are we potentially subjecting ourselves to unknown health risks? I don't believe that Black women are doing that because we're gullible and dumb.
She sets the stage and then plays the victim.
I trust Black women to act in ways that they believe are the most rational and provide the most upside for them at any given time. And this is why it's so important for us to talk about beauty and what it is and how it's constructed and how it affects how we navigate through the world. Because when we're talking about beauty, we're not just talking about how good somebody feels when they look in the mirror. No. We're talking about how somebody is able to navigate their lives, the resources that somebody has access to. When you take a more macro look at what might drive somebody to bring a picture of their favorite Instagram model to Dr. Miami and say, I want to look like that, then we can have real discussions about, okay, so how are we going to deal with this? So I say all the time that a lot of this is about money.
You don't know how you're
going
to deal with it.
When I talk about money, what I'm really talking about is access to resources.
Stop gaslighting these women.
A wide array of stuff. So everything from male attention, and male attention is important if you're a woman because it can bring social legitimacy, it can bring financial stability, it can bring a place to stay. Like, it does matter. Or it can bring a different kind of attention, the attention that you get on social media, which can also bring financial stability.
The succubus.
It can bring actual money, employment. I mean, all of these things are why you might conform to a white supremacist male gaze, even though the white supremacist part of that is tricky, right? Because
what the fuck? How the fuck you get from this to white supremacy?
despite the fact that we in our own communities
Oh
make
my
our
God.
own ideals,
This is a
those
psychosis.
ideals are still impacted by whiteness. You know, that's why people get nose jobs
What?
and lighten their skin and
I got
all
my
of that,
ass shots
right?
because of
Even
white
if
men.
We don't
White
want to look like
supremacists.
a white woman. You know, we're not trying to look like Taylor Swift.
Yes, you are.
But there are still ways that
Yes, you are.
anti-blackness factors in to the construction of our
Yes, you
beauty
are.
ideal.
Stop
and women know
lying
this.
to these
We're
women.
taught from a very, very young age that beauty is capital, that beauty has a huge effect, an enormous influence on your social positioning. It don't matter how smart you are, what school you go to, people are going to look to you to provide the resources that we look to women for, and that is beauty. That's what you're expected to bring to the table. So what are you gonna do
Oh,
to try
Lord.
to get to beauty? You're going to subject yourself to risky cosmetic procedures.
Oh.
You're going to diet. You're going to starve yourself. You're going to be in the gym all of the time. So there's
No,
that.
you're not.
And then there's people who cannot or do not subject themselves to those sorts of body modifications, who are just beset by generalized anxiety and body dysmorphia. That pressure is super real, no matter where you are. And I really appreciated
That's
the
a-
BBC
that's
did a
a
video
very
on,
disgusting problem.
BBLs and, you know, the Instagram ideal. And I appreciated this influencer saying,
I've got to the stage where I've actually had it ready, like knowing what dates I was going.
I wanted to get my bum done. I was like, look, all these Instagram girls are doing well. Working
And
with
look,
these brands.
And look, it's another dark-skinned girl with straight hair that you know is a wig. All right, she kind of looks like a man. She's one of them jawline broads. Like the look, like women are so predictable in hive mindset that the type of woman that I'm actually talking about actually has a particular look. Ain't that fucked up? They have a particular look. Her and Harriet look like they'll be, for Harriet, look like they'll be friends. Y'all not doing nothing exclusive. It's expected. Look at, never mind, man.
body.
As a black influencer, there's like a certain look, and I think a certain look is you have to be a figure eight.
She got a big chin.
Big boobs, big bum to be
And she's
considered
a
as
beautiful woman, but
as a
damn.
black woman.
and because capitalism makes everything
Now
a
it's capitalism.
competition,
Now
we're
it's capitalism.
now at a point where
Get
there's
the
that
fuck outta
intersection of
here,
the mixed
man.
race aesthetic and this curvy ideal where black women are put in a position where, like, we're told that we have to compete with women of other races.
telling
a
you
white woman
this?
getting thick is not a threat to me because I'm not in competition with her.
Yes, you
or
are.
an Asian woman or a Latina woman.
You
or
just
whatever.
explained how you
but
was.
The ideal is that we are supposed to be fighting each other to get these select few men or jobs or
What?
whatever. But, like, no. And I can say no to that because that's not my job. My job is not to get likes on Instagram. But if you are a sex worker,
She just sat up here. No, no, and I want to hear this. Hold on, 'cause I haven't heard this. But she just sat up here and said, she just sat up here and explained to you guys how you were competing. Then she sat up here and explained to you guys how you wasn't competing. Bitch, which one are you doing? Now she's talking about sex workers. She's not going to, it ain't prostitute or hoe. Cause what she's talking about, it doesn't exist. Let's see what she says about the sex worker. Let's see her advice on the sex worker. Y'all better scroll down. We just done came off the Pimp series, bro. Y'all should already know where I'm coming with this one. Let's see. Let's go.
an Instagram model or a performer or a rapper or whatever, it makes sense why you would
A sex worker, Instagram model, or a rapper or performer. Oh, God.
go down that road. The problem that we have now in the age of Instagram is the rest of us suffer, right? Nobody.
How the fuck does the rest of you guys suffer? Yeah, none of us get attention when you do that. None of us.
Escape that ideal.
Look at this weird ass smile on this girl. Harriet, baby girl, you going through a psychosis, yo.
And so the rest of us were just like, oh, I just want to get up and go work every day. Like, I just want to get up and do my job and do my best and raise my kids and hang out with my family. Now we feel the pressure to be bad bitches, you know, whereas before you could have been a slightly above average bitch. Now we all got to be bad bitches. And I have to say that
so when I call you guys bitches, now y'all get mad, but now she just called you guys bitches and done, we want to be bad bitches. Yes, the pressure for us to be a bad bitch, it's on. Girl, if you don't get the fuck out of here.
Instagram is to blame, but this aesthetic did not start on Instagram. K. Michelle, Kim Kardashian, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, like, I do not believe that Instagram is why they altered their bodies, but I do believe that now Instagram is to blame for the rest of us being affected because we're just scrolling and seeing those images.
They were just one of the first.
It's inescapable. It's the tyranny of the curvy ideal. And I was watching the Grapevine episode.
So she just explained to you how she builds up this big ass monster in her head, and then all of a sudden she's a victim of it. The tyranny of how women should look. You just laid out what, oh my God.
You know, the curvy ideal, whatever. And I heard Aisha, and I love Aisha, and I also love Uchechi on that freaking show. But I heard Aisha talking about how this stuff is influenced by the mainstreaming of strip club culture. Absolutely true.
No shit.
So not only in the past decade or decade and a half has strip club culture become just a part of mainstream culture, hip hop culture, which is now mainstream popular culture, the music, the type of dance that we like, but also it has influenced our sexual mores and our aesthetics. Or maybe I shouldn't say tyranny, it's the mainstreaming of this extreme ideal. And it's so powerful that huge businesses have been built off of it. Look at Fashion Nova. Those clothes aren't even cute.
Y'all support them.
Clothes are not even cute. Fashion Nova has built this huge business off of cheap, poorly made clothes because they've stuffed a certain type of woman into them. And so 99% of the time, except for the jeans, Fashion Nova jeans are quite good, but 99% of the time,
you would know,
when you're buying that cheap Fashion Nova shit, you're not buying it because the clothes are cute. You're buying it because you want to look like that, those same two models that they use in all of those images. Do people even know what real bodies look like anymore? Like, I really think about these kids. So when I see people make certain kinds of comments on Twitter and Instagram and even YouTube, I'm like, do people know what real bodies look like?
Do you know what one looks like?
Gen Z.
You didn't explain like 8 of them.
What natural bodies look like? Because bodies that have booties that when I was 18 were big.
Bitches talk more about bodies and booties and obsess over this stuff way more than men. Am I the only one that notices that?
Are now small or medium, and bodies that to me look enormous are big. I'm super critical of Instagram and social media largely as platforms that perpetuate enormous harms. I recognize that so many women have been able to build careers for themselves and build businesses off of those platforms. I mean, I've made a lot of money off of Instagram. So look, it's not all bad. I just am not at a place where I believe that the prosperity of a few justifies the suffering of many. I don't think that I can say that overall it's been worth it. I know people are always looking for solutions. I don't have a solution. My solution is to use these platforms less. They are architected to keep you addicted. They are architected to keep you scrolling, and they intentionally feed you certain kinds of images because those are the images that get the most attention. But yeah, like, Instagram is bad. You know, in 15 years, the ideal is going to be something completely different.
And this is what women do.
That doesn't help you if you're suffering.
I'm just going to stop it right there. Thank you, Harriet, man. Hold on. This is what women do. They will say a whole bunch of shit, and then in the end they say nothing. All of their shit is vague. It's vague. Now, as a man, logically, if I'm listening to this shit, bitch, what are you talking about? It's a whole bunch of nonsense. I ain't learned shit. But fellas, you have to be cognizant. Women got a bunch of information out of this show, and they got a bunch of on code rhetoric that they've soaking out of this show. And this is the same type of information and logic they try to use against you or towards you in conversation, in arguments, on debates, on panels, and even reasoning with themselves. To say a bunch of shit and not say nothing at all. To play a bunch of games and play the victim and not do nothing at all. She has reached a bunch of women with what she's saying in this particular show. Women have garnered a bunch of information off of this show. So what have we learned today? We ain't learned a goddamn thing. That was today's show. DJ Kuda, man. I'm out. Let's go.